So you've done the hard part. You've taken a break from alcohol. You've gone alcohol free. Maybe you're in a few weeks without it, maybe you're a few months without it, and you're living a completely different lifestyle. You go to bed feeling refreshed, you wake up feeling fresh, you just feel like you're adding steps in the right direction, in the right momentum. Now, what's really, really important for you to be able to do now that you're already alcohol free in order to sustain it and to build a great, passionate life filled with meaning and fulfillment? That's the secret I'm going to share with you today in this live video. So if we haven't met you before, my name is Karolina Rzadkowolska, and I'm an alcohol-free life coach. And also, I'm the author of the book Euphoric, Ditch Alcohol, and Gain a Happier, More Confident You, which is coming to bookshelves on January 4th and is available for pre-order today. So before I begin on that, why it's so important to find your passion when you're already alcohol-free, I just want to share an opportunity with you. I'm currently looking for early readers of my book. So an early reader of my book will get a copy of this book and will be able to read it before it gets out on bookshelves. So you will be able to get a copy, read it before it gets on bookshelves, and basically provide a review. And then if you'd like it, if you want to share it with other people, we'll give you all the files and all the things to be able to do that. So you will have to pre-order the book, but then you'll get a copy of the book to read today before anybody else. If you're interested in joining my book launch team, there still are a few spots left, and you can join at euphoricaf.com/team. euphoricaf.com/team, and you can get an early copy of this book to read and honestly start changing your relationship with alcohol today. No matter what stage you're at, whether you're taking a break, whether you're not, whether you're already alcohol free, we live in a society that is governed and just so centralized by the constant idea of drinking. And we need tools, mindset shifts that are found in a book like this to help you find freedom so that you're not bound by this stupid social convention anymore, but really bound by your own wisdom and your own well-being first. So, if you're taking a break from alcohol, if you're alcohol free, why it's so important to find a passion, why it's so important for you to find a new sense of meaning and a new sense of fulfillment. So let me tell you this story. When I went alcohol free, I took first just a break. That's all I considered it was a break. But something really happened to my identity during that time. I started to love how I felt in the mornings. I started to actually become a morning person. I remember that was one of the first identity shifts I made, is that I went from being someone who hated waking up before 9 a.m. to actually really enjoying it, to finding that maybe it's a little hard to get out of bed still some days, but when I wake up early, I had time for me. I had time to do things that I love to do, to feel like I had time to work on myself, to do things like my personal growth, to meditate, to think of my affirmations, to visualize my dream life. I really started to shift my identity from someone who hated mornings to loved mornings. And I felt like more and more was possible for me. I had this new sense of gratitude and appreciation flooding me every day. I was even looking at things like the clouds and the sun and the trees in a completely different way. And so as I was changing my identity, as I was making these changes, I also felt like more was possible for me. And I remember going out and having a lot of new experiences. I had this courage to actually go out and do some of those bucket list items that we put on a list but we never do, and I actually did them. I went to paddleboard yoga classes. I went to writing workshops. I went to Zumba classes. I went to the symphony. I went to the botanical garden. I did all these things that were totally outside of my comfort zone, but that I had always wanted to do. Just fun stuff that I really, really wanted to do. And by going on all these new experiences, I was opening myself up to the idea of having more passions in my life, to having more things that really fulfill me. And through the experience of just being a beginner and letting myself do something that was new, I actually started to find what my deeper passions were. I started to really find that I wanted to launch a business and a blog and to start writing about my experiences. And this wasn't always crystal clear, but it was kind of always underneath. And I started taking baby steps in that direction, and I really found my new passion. I found my new passion first in writing, first in just writing my experiences down on a piece of paper. First, it was just journaling, and then I started social media, so I started actually talking about my experiences online. I started blogging, so I started sharing articles online, and eventually I wrote this book, right? So writing became my great, great passion. And with that, I also launched a business. I also launched a movement that helps other women discover freedom from alcohol. And learning how to launch a business was hard. Like, I didn't know anything when I first started. And so I literally had to learn everything, like Pinterest, social media, blogging, SEO, all the marketing, all the Facebook ads, all that stuff from scratch. And I have to say that it was actually really fun because it was something I didn't really know before. And when you're a beginner and you don't know anything, every single thing you learn is a step of progress, is a step in the right direction, makes you feel more confident and more capable. So every day I was feeling more confident and more capable because I was learning just a little bit more about how to do something completely new. And with that entire story, not only did I launch a business and did I write a book, but I also found the deepest sense of fulfillment that I've ever found in my life. I found my reason for existence, my raison d'etre. I found what really fulfills me on this planet. I found my calling. I found what I really truly want to do, which was help other women make alcohol so insignificant in their life so that they could find their deeper passions and go for their bigger dreams. And I started helping women doing that. And I started helping more clients and more clients and more clients and more students and more students. And I felt like my heart was full and like I was finally on the right path. And I have to tell you, my other career never made me feel like that. Not even once. And so I finally found the thing that I was looking for so long. I found the deeper sense of purpose that I wanted in my life and a deeper calling. Now that's just my story. And I work with clients from all over the world. And I think it's imperative that it's not just about taking a break from alcohol. It's not just about removing one thing out of your life. It is about building a life you love so much that alcohol doesn't even register anymore. It's about finding your passions and feeling so alive in your own life that you don't even think about having a drink. And I think it's really important if you're alcohol free or taking a break to find those passions because they are literally the key to a sustainable alcohol free life and identity. Because this is the thing. I remember one time, for example, a lot of times when people take a break from alcohol, what makes it really unsustainable over time is they get FOMO, the fear of missing out. So you take a break from alcohol, you go alcohol free, you go a few weeks, a few months, whatever it is, and eventually you go somewhere where people are drinking and you feel left out. You feel like you're missing out on something because you're not joining them. And so this fear of missing out causes a lot of people to slip and to go back into drinking. And the thing is that when I recognized, let me just illustrate this with a story. I recognized that the new thing I was building, the new passions I had, was really where I wanted to spend my time. That's what I thought was the most enriching part of my life. And missing out on having a drink was like, are you kidding me? That's not even something I even want to entertain. I remember once going to a game night. And I had started writing every morning. So every morning I was writing, and I was really honestly writing the first draft of this book. And I was really getting in the habit of that. I was feeling really proud of myself and just, oh my gosh, I can almost call myself a writer now. Like I'm waking up every day and writing. And so I got into this habit of writing, and I went to this game night with my husband. And the game night went really long. It was Friday night, and it went really long. Like one of the games just would not end. And the time just kept creeping and creeping, and it was like 1 a.m., and everyone else was drinking, and I wasn't drinking. And there was this, part of me that was like, oh my God, you guys, I have got so much better things to do with my time right now than to stay up late and miss my morning writing. I'm a writer. I want to go write tomorrow morning. I don't want to stay up till the wee hours of the morning having this game go on forever and ever and ever. And there was something that just clicked in me that was like, I don't miss out on things like that. The other people around me are missing out on not having the passion in their lives to do something in the next morning. Now, I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I'm just saying it super metaphorically that I actually felt like the luckiest person at the table, that I had something that I cared so much about, I was so passionate about, that drinking couldn't even come onto my brain as something that was appealing because all I wanted to do was to wake up the next morning to be able to write. And so that's why I think it's so important for you, if you're taking a break from alcohol, to find what your passion is. Because here's the thing. We all start drinking and we all form a habit with alcohol, and we all have a relationship with it for two main reasons that are almost completely universal. No matter who you are, you have an alcohol story. Unless you literally grew up in a country where it is not allowed and is not part of the culture, you have an alcohol story. Every single person on this planet that grew up in that kind of culture does. And so you have to, when you get brave enough, when you get wise enough, when you get intuitive enough, you have to make sense of it. You have to make sense of why. Why was I drinking? Why is this habit why does it make me feel out of control? Why does it make me feel regretful the next day? Like, really wise people ask themselves those questions. And there's two main reasons why everybody comes to have a relationship with alcohol. And they're not your fault. And they have nothing to do with your willpower. And they have nothing to do with your personality. They have nothing to do with any weakness or character defect or whatever. The two reasons are, one, the repetitive action of a habit on your brain. So when you drink alcohol, you don't just drink it once or twice or 3 times maybe in your life. You drink it repetitively over and over and over and over every week, until you're stacking thousands and thousands and thousands of drinking occasions on top of each other. And because of that, a really strong habit forms in the brain. A really strong habit loop forms in the brain, which tells you have certain cues, like going out for dinner or going on a vacation or it being Friday night, and your brain and your body really crave alcohol at that moment because that is what you've taught it. Now, that's something I go into all my courses, so if you're interested in learning how to break that habit loop, check out Become Euphoric, because that will teach you, that will be we literally grew up in a society that tells us that alcohol is the fabric of adulthood, that alcohol is the fabric of socializing, that alcohol is the one thing we all do to connect. Everybody shares it in common. And it is pervasive in our culture. It is so pervasive. Like, you can't even go to a baby shower these days without alcohol being served, even though it's about the pregnant woman who isn't drinking, even though it's in the day, even though it's about babies. It has nothing to do with a party. And yet it is pervasive in our culture, and nobody escapes that unless you live in a different culture where it is not pervasive. And that does something to your brain. That teaches you something. That conditions you to want to think that drinking is normal, that drinking is part of being an adult, and that drinking is the only way to have fun and the only way to connect, which is total bullshit. And that is also what you'll learn and Become Euphoric, to completely annihilate those ideas. Now, those are the two things that everyone's grappling with, but we all have unique relevance in also forming a relationship with alcohol. And I truly believe that almost 9 times out of 10, the deeper root issue is actually unfulfillment. It is so easy to drink every Friday, every Saturday, every Friday, every Saturday, whatever your habit is, because you are actually subconsciously unfulfilled with some part of your life. Drinking becomes the easy way out. Drinking becomes the easy thing to do instead of actually looking at that. And it might not be conscious. It seriously might be very, very subconscious, because I knew, for example, I was completely bored and unfulfilled with my work week. I could not wait for the weekend so I could drink. And I didn't realize it was because I was so unfulfilled in what I was doing during the week. Now, you might feel that in your career. You might feel that in your relationships. You might feel that in just not picking up the dreams and the passions that you had when you were younger, that you've kind of let them go. And so if drinking ultimately, outside of habit, outside of conditioning, is due to this lack of fulfillment that we have in our lives, the answer is to find more fulfillment. The answer must be to find more fulfillment. And that is why it's so imperative to me. This is what I teach all of my students, all of my clients, is you need to find your passion. You need to find something that fulfills you. You need to find a new challenge that will give you not only just something to do, but something that makes you feel alive and excited, and you're a beginner again, and it's challenging, and your brain's working overtime, and you're doing all these new things. Now, it doesn't matter when it happens necessarily. Like, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. If you're just taking a break from alcohol, you're in your first 30 days, take it easy. Like, let that be the first thing you focus on. But finding a passion is so important for you. And I'm going to just go over real quick how you can find a passion. So this is something I work in depth with in my clients. But there's a lot of ways that if you're not sure what it is, you can start asking yourself questions to be able to determine what you're supposed to do next. And I bet you just 9 times out of 10, your passion is your calling. Like, whatever you want to do, it might take a different format at first, and you might pivot at the end of the day, but I bet you at the end of the day, it is your calling. It is something to do with your purpose on this planet. You have a unique gift that nobody else has. And finding that and finding your passion is seriously going to be the key to your fulfillment. And so I walk my clients through in a process, if they're not sure what it is, to actually determine what their passions are. And this kind of discovery work also happens in my course, Become Euphoric, so that you can start to learn, what do I wish I was doing? Like, if I could do anything, if I could be anyone, and if I could have anything, what would I want? What do I want? Like, it's actually so simple of a question, and yet, do people all know what they want? Do we all know what we want? Do we know what fulfills us? Do we know what really drives us? Most of us don't, and I kind of didn't either, you know? So just being able to answer that question takes some work. And I help my clients by giving them different personality tests. I also help them by asking, really good visualization questions, like really picturing if you were to step into the future version of you, if you were 5 years or 10 years into the future, what are they doing? They are happy and fulfilled, and they are being recognized by all the contributions they make to society. What are they doing? Other questions I might ask go around even jealousy. So have you ever been jealous of someone in your life? Why were you jealous of them? Is there someone from your high school that became a public speaker and it drives you nuts because she's not even that smart? Is there something that you're jealous about that other people have or do? These can be really good clues into what your passion is. And so usually I end up helping my clients build something, create something. Oftentimes it is a business, right? Because through our business, we can actually make a difference in the world and get financial freedom and get paid from it. So it's a win-win. It also could be a really cool passion project, like writing a book or starting some kind of art project that you really love and really is seeing you through. It could also be community-based. So maybe you start a new meetup, or maybe you start some other kind of community that gives back or brings people together. There's so many things that really fall into this passion area. Maybe it's even a new hobby. A new hobby you have no idea what could turn into. Like, imagine that you just got really into photography and you started photographing people or things, and you just got really into it, and you spent your Saturday mornings driving around town taking really beautiful photos. Now, that might be a part of you that's like, well, this isn't going to turn into anything. Like, I'm not going to become a photographer tomorrow. I'm not going to quit my job and, have people pay me to do this. But you never know where that skill's going to come in. Maybe 3 years from now, you actually launch a product-based business, and your photography skills come really in handy because you're taking these beautiful lifestyle shots of your products on people. We never know where our passions will lead us. And I think it's so important to start pulling the string and start going for it. And so if you have no idea where to start, if you have just no idea where to start, what I recommend is just going and trying a ton of new things. So whether it was stuff that you used to like what to do when you were younger, or maybe it's like a bucket list of things that you want to try, whether it's a new class, like maybe a pottery class, or maybe it's like something like that's workout based, like aerial yoga, boxing, Zumba, even CrossFit. Try new things. Go out and experience new things. And it's not necessarily that your passion is going to be this new like hobby, but the hobby, though, the ability to try new things, to get out there, to be a beginner again, is going to stimulate your brain and give you new creative ideas you've never had before. So go have new experiences. And if you really want guidance on this process, I highly recommend either my course, Become Euphoric, which will help you take a 2-month break from alcohol and find these new passions, and it will give you the guide every single week on what to do to be able to find your new passions and really discover what it is. Or if you're a little farther along, working with me would be a really great way to really hone in on what your unique gift is in the world and how you want to share that and how you want to completely change your identity so that you are living a fulfilled life filled with so much meaning and contribution. Because if you hold your gift back, it's like you're actually holding a gift back from people. You were meant to share that. You were meant to help other people. You were meant to contribute to their lives. So I hope that was helpful. And I am just going to reiterate from the beginning, I am launching my book. It is coming out January 4th. Super excited for that. It's going to be on bookshelves then. But if you want to get your early copy, if you want to start reading it today, you can join my book launch team and get an early copy today to read in exchange for a review. So you'll be one of the earliest readers of Euphoric, Ditch Alcohol, and Gain a Happier, More Confident You. And so you just go to my website, euphoricaf.com/team. And what you'll do is you pre-order the book, so you still get a beautiful, nice copy when it comes out. But then you'll get an online copy today to start reading. And you'll also join a book club. So we're actually having discussions about the book in the book club and some private Q&As with me. So you'll get like a whole network of new people to hang out with and also get a book club that you can use to guide you through the book. And then, you'll also get to see how a book launch really goes, because if you ever have a dream yourself of writing a book, maybe that is your new passion. It's really cool to see how one of these things kind of happens so that you understand for the future what you might have to do. So book launch team, if you'd love to join it, I'd love to have you. That's at euphoricaf.com/team. I'll include the link below for Facebook, and it's in my link in bio on Instagram. So thank you so much. I hope you guys have a lovely holiday, and I'm wishing everyone so much love and joy this holiday season. Thank you so much, Sober in Color, with good luck with the book. I love that. I really appreciate you all watching, and I really believe that your passions are your greatest gifts and your greatest expression in the world, and they are probably your calling and the way you actually even find financial freedom at the end of the day. So thank you so much for watching. I will catch you next week at Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific.